Methods of separating substances. Learning about separation of substances by handpicking, threshing, winnowing and sewing. Children, today we will study about few substances which are made up of small particles which are not visible to us with our naked eye. There are pure substances and impure substances. Pure substance is the one in which all particles are similar to each other. For example, sugar is pure substance. Oxygen is another pure substance. An impure substance is mixture of one or more substances. For example, dusty wind is a mixture because dust is clearly visible in air. A substance is a mixture we find it to be in solid, a liquid or a gas. Some examples of mixture are as follows. Soil is a mixture of sand, clay decayed, remains of plants and animals and various salts. Milk is a mixture of water, cream, calcium and vitamins. Tea leaves are separated from the liquid with a strainer while preparing tea. Grain is separated from stalks while harvesting. Milk or curd is churned to separate the butter. Suppose you are given a basket containing mangoes and guavas and asked to separate them. What would you do? Pick out one kind and place them in a separate container, right? Seems easy, but what if the materials we want to separate are much smaller than mango or guava? Imagine you are given a glass of sand with salt mixed in it. Impossible! Even to think of separating salt from this mixture by picking out grains of sand by hand. We see that before we use a substance, we need to separate harmful or non-useful substances that may be mixed with it. Sometimes we separate even useful components if we need to use them separately. The substances to be separated may be particles of different sizes or materials. These may be solids, liquids, or even gases. So, how do we separate substances mixed together if they have so many different properties? Methods of separation. We will discuss some simple methods of separating substances that are mixed together. Handpicking. Handpicking is used for removing undesirable solid constituents from a mixture. It is used only when the quantity of undesirable constituent is small. The mixture is inspected and the pieces of stone and husks are removed with hands from it. This method of handpicking can be used for separating slightly larger sized impurities like the pieces of dirt, stone and husk from wheat, rice and pulses. The quantity of such impurities is usually not very large. In such situations, we find that handpicking is a convenient method of separating substances. Threshing. When the bundles of wheat or paddy stalks are ready for harvesting, stalks are dried in the sun before the grain is separated from them. The process that is used to separate grain from stalks is called threshing. In this process, the stalks are beaten to free the grain seeds. Sometimes, threshing is done with the help of bullocks. Machines are also used to thresh large quantities of grains. Winnowing. Winnowing is the process of separating light solid particles such as husks from heavier solids such as rice or wheat grains. The heavy particles drop almost vertically, whereas the light particles are carried some distance away by the wind. Hence, two different heaps of light and heavy materials are formed. This method of separating components of a mixture is called winnowing. Winnowing is used to separate heavier and lighter components of a mixture by wind or by blowing the air. Sometimes, when we wish to prepare a dish with flour, we need to remove impurities and bran that may be present in it. We use a sieve and pour the flour into it. Sieving allows the fine flour particles to pass through the holes of the sieve while the bigger impurities remain on the sieve. In a flour mill, impurities like husk and stones are removed from wheat before grinding it. Usually, a bagful of wheat is poured on a slanting sieve. The sieving removes pieces of stones, stalk, and husk that may still remain with wheat after threshing and winnowing. We have also seen similar sieves being used at construction sites to separate pebbles and stones from the sand. Summary: handpicking, winnowing, sieving, sedimentation, decantation, and filtration are some of the methods of separating substances from their mixtures. Husks and stones could be separated from grains by handpicking. Husk is separated from heavier seeds of grain by winnowing. Difference in the size of particles in a mixture is utilized to separate them by the process of sieving and filtration. So that is all in this topic. Let us learn about separation of substances, sedimentation, decantation, evaporation and filtration in our next topic. Till then, keep learning.